Gotta like it.
You always got to do that.
Yeah.
Everything is fine here on Detention Block AA-23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Dustin and look, Rip from Yellowstone is here.
Yep.
Let's talk some Star Wars.
Less hair, more beard.
Yep. Yeah, let's go there first. Who is the more attractive twin? If you couldn't tell, they're twins.
It really depends on the dumbness of the woman, really. I say that affectionately, but you know, for my brother, you have to be real dumb to like this fucking Patch Adams.
Everyone's been hating on your beard, I feel like, since we've gotten
A lot of people.
I'm going to say I've been on your side with it.
Yes.
I do enjoy it.
And, you know, I mean, it just,
it's not because
there's some birds.
It's a sense of masculinity. Also, like, just being able to do this.
I can do this.
It makes you look more intelligent.
It does.
Well, the longer the beard, the more intelligence it seems you have.
Yeah. Maybe not necessarily intelligent, but deep.
Yes, I'm a deep thinker. You know, a lot of philosophy going on up here. You know,
I see it. I can see it in your eyes.
Hey, Mike, should we cheers it up a little bit?
Well, yeah, because where are we? Where are we?
We are at Mirror Twin Brewing in Lexington, Kentucky, and we're drinking Detention Bock. Cheers. Beer just made for the podcast.
You know, we've been talking about this probably since like some of the early episodes, episodes about coming here and actually recording. And we're finally here. And, you know, he even made the promise when we first started talking, you know, I'll make you a beer. Yeah, just come here. I'll make you a beer. So before we like talk any Star Wars, I'll give you this opportunity to kind of talk about your brewery, you know, advertise it maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
What got you going? What got it started and the inspiration behind it?
Yeah. So we started in September of 2016 and I started homebrewing. I got really good at it.
He was terrible at it first.
My first beer was
tasted like dish soap.
Yeah.
Did it really?
It was
not
bad.
Good. It was bad. So I'm surprised I still have eyesight.
Yes. Well, it's not distillation, right? You're talking about the creation of
it's gonna get really technical.
methanol. But anyway, so I started brewing at home in my garage and eventually started brewing commercially, and then the idea of the brewery started making more sense, and so we started writing a business plan and we opened in 2016. And I fell in love with beer. I loved how it brings people together, and to me there's nothing cooler than seeing this place, you know, full of people watching, you know, them having a good time, having cool conversations and bringing people together around something that, you know, I created. So
yeah, unless those people were his family, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like strangers he was really excited about. But like when his family came and he's like, oh God, I have to entertain these fucking douchebags.
They're very remiss about free beer for life.
I know. Like, can you believe that?
Yes, I can believe it.
And so, you know, that's where we started. Obviously, the inspiration for the name Mirror Twin came from the fact that we are identical twin brothers, but I'm right-handed and he's left-handed. So we're the mirror image of each other. And I'm also the better-looking twin.
Yeah, no, that's
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So we kept on brewing, and then you and I and the three of us talked about creating this beer, and so we made the Detention Bock, and you guys came in, and here we are recording a podcast as promised.
And it tastes amazing. Like,
yes,
I actually really like it. It's super good. I'm hoping I can go home with some. We'll send you home with some. Thank you, sir. Well, and speaking to that Mirror Twin brewery or Mirror Twin definition, one of my favorite things about this place is the layout itself. Like, I love that you've got the building over there, then you've got your like patio space all in the middle, and then another building over here, and it's kind of like mirrored, you know, image of itself. So it's like built into the concept of the layout.
Dylan kind of represents the middle soft part.
Yeah, so who's Dylan? Who's Dylan?
Dylan's our little brother, and he's a giant piece of shit. Let's be honest, right? Like, he's not good for anything.
Should we call him over here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got less hair than Derek, so that says a lot. That says a lot about and you know, another thing about Mirror Twins is like I have hair. No, he doesn't have hair.
Well,
so
why don't you turn around? Remember earlier in like our podcast, you had that mirror that's
Yeah.
behind your
It's
desk,
behind my head.
and it was just glaring at us.
I mean, I'm losing
every
it
single
behind
episode.
here. I'm gonna hold on to it as long as I can. So I gave up. He gave up. He's a quitter.
So, what's next with Mirror Twin Brewing? And it's brewing? Not,
Yeah.
Mirror Twin Brewing. What's next with what you got?
So, you know, when we first started, we started off really small and we've grown exponentially. So originally we just started with the one building. We acquired this building about 2 years after the first building opened. Then we actually had to move our brewery over to another building because we were just running out of space. So a lot of the goals that we set out to accomplish, we have. And so right now, the next step is we're really looking towards opening up another tap room.
Soda. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Maybe in a
management,
different state.
You got
Yeah.
pizza.
It would make sense to open up a Mirror Twin in the Twin Cities.
Right? It just
So I'm saying, for our local listeners, would you come? Yeah. I mean,
But so opening up another tap room, we've highly looked at Louisville just because it's close.
proximity.
Yeah. If we do open up another tap room, I think it would be a wise choice to do it somewhere closer before we make a big step somewhere else, because I can at least have, you know, my finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
You know, you do it in a whole nother state, all of a sudden things get a little wild. It get a little bit more difficult to manage. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the next steps, and we want to continue growing in distribution. Our footprint with cans has gotten exponentially larger, and
we
it's
brought a whole
just been-
suitcase to take those cans with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a prop bag now, but we might ditch the props and take that.
Yeah.
Take on that stuff.
They're just gonna have to ship back the props.
Yeah. We'll put it on the brewery's tab.
Yeah.
So this might be kind of a cliche question. I'm sure when you have patrons come in and they're like talking to you for a while, they probably ask you like, what's your favorite beer here? So what is your favorite beer, either currently on tap or just in general that you do?
It's the
Maybe it's-
DetBlock.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Obviously,
that's a
Obviously.
given. That's a
Favorite
what
beer.
style of beer
it's like
do
when
you
you
cater
have
to?
it's like when you have multiple kids and people are like, who's your favorite? I mean, I love all, but right now, my brainchild was this light lager, and the reason I like it so much is because those type of styles show the precision and the quality of a brewer.
Okay.
Because there's nowhere to hide any miscues or off flavors in that product, and so to me, it shows the technical expertise of a brewer. And then also, I just think that just like everything, especially a lot of markets, things ebb and flow. And so a couple of years ago, everything was adjunct. How much fruit can I throw in a beer? How much fucking Snicker bars can I throw in a beer? And now it's kind of, you know, flowing back to the light styles, the
purity,
lagers, yeah, like you know, your more traditional styles.
Yeah.
And they're more drinkable. You know, you can sit down and have 5 or 6 and still be able to drive home. And, you know,
Well,
take care.
We're not condoning drinking driving, but
Absolutely not. But, you know, you stay within your faculties and you can still raise your children. Right? And it's just a really easy drinking beer.
yeah. I think the last time I was here was during that phase where it was like we're throwing in all the
hazy.
Yeah, hazy IPAs were a huge part of the community, and I mean they're still around, they're still popular, but the hype part of it isn't as high as it's.
Sure.
The one thing I'm proudest about my brother, aside from the fact that he's so devilishly handsome, is that like he understands the market that he plays in, right? And he's really smart about it, because we have local breweries in Minnesota, and I'm not gonna, I mean, like, there's no names to name, but like they are really stubborn and they do the thing that they're really good at and they don't deviate, where you understand the market and where it's going. I mean, that's business in general, right? Life in general, you know, things ebb and flow, like he's saying, right? Like hazy IPAs, I think, while still pretty popular, have kind of waned a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, that more light side beer and the bang for your buck and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then, so when hazy IPAs were really popular, there were a lot of breweries in Kentucky that were
Got away
very
from
hesitant.
those.
Yeah, yeah. And so we were actually the first brewery in Lexington and the second brewery in Kentucky to release a hazy IPA. And so because of that, one, it kind of gave us a little bit of leeway. So if it wasn't perfect, it was still the only
Pretty
thing
good, yeah.
available. But the first one we ever made actually was a banger. And
I love that you use the term.
yeah, well, it was, and then the second batch we made wasn't as good. And then it kind of became like my Moby Dick,
Okay.
my white whale.
Yeah.
And so it actually, because of that, it made me a much better brewer because I had to really dive into a part of the chemistry, water chemistry in particular, that ended up making every product that we make more consistent.
Okay.
And you know, it's just, you gotta stay with the times. You know, now hazy IPAs are still popular, but there are different styles that are always going to come out that are, some people are going to be hesitant to try. And I think thing about brewers, probably every industry has this, but they're stubborn. And sometimes we're a little hesitant to change, but to me, it's not so much, you know, we're brewers, but we're also business owners. Sure. And so being malleable and willing to try those new styles, especially when that's what's selling well, I think that has really helped us kind of make a name for ourselves and grow the way that we have. And I don't think we would have grown as significantly as we did without just having that mindset of, hey, we want to make the quality products, but we're also going to make things that, you know, other brewers might kind of scoff at, but we're going to try it because that's what's popular.
So going off of that, what keeps you up at night about being a brewer?
I can tell you this. His glycol chiller. His
Oh, yeah.
glycol chiller is his Jar Jar Binks. Like, if we're gonna bring it back to Star Wars, like,
Yeah.
that's what keeps you up at night, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like literally,
It's like the
and
Death
figuratively.
Star after it got destroyed
Yeah,
the first.
it's not great.
Yeah, by the way, he does. And don't
Let's
worry,
talk-
we will get there.
Yeah.
I just want to give a little more time with the brewery and everything. So that, okay, so that answers what keeps you up at night. What excites you? Like, what brings you into work every day? And don't say the people, because everyone.
No. No, I mean, I still get excited to brew beer. You know, I get up early in the morning and like, you know, I think about, you know, turning the lights on and, you know, smelling the smell of, you know, mashing in. It's like the smell of cereal.
Sure.
And, you know, creating new stuff and like sitting down with my brewing team and coming up with new ideas and names.
I was just gonna say, names has to be one of the most
Yeah.
fun parts of it, because one thing about Merrittman breweries, they come up with all these awesome names for their drinks, and a lot of them are like movie or
Yeah.
entertainment related,
Pop culture.
pop culture. So what is one of the most creative, in your mind, names that you made for your beer?
So right now we have a beer on tap. It's a cold IPA. And the name of it is, if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes, which is a common thing in Kentucky because, you know, right now it can be 60 degrees, tomorrow it'll snow, and then it'll be 95 the day after. It's just all over the place. So, and I think a lot of the Midwest is like that.
Yeah.
But we've made some beers with dad joke names. Like we made a beer called Why Do Cows Have Hooves? They lactose. And it was a milkshake.
Good. Okay.
And we use lactose in it. So
A lot of dad jokes.
a lot of dad jokes, a lot of pop culture references. You know, it's just that's the fun part. And the cool thing is, like, all my brewers are very similar in this regard, where we like Rick and Marty, we like Star Wars, we like The Simpsons, Family Guy. So a lot of the references, a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
A lot of beer names kind of stem from those references. So we have a beer called Kitten Mittens, You know, because I mean, who is so tired of like waking up with their cat paws just all over the place? You gotta figure out a way to.
So my question, this is hard hitting journalism right here, is how many cease and desist letters have you been sent?
We're on our second.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's pretty important, right? Like if you haven't received your first, you ain't doing it right.
Yes, it's kind of a rite of passage. Yeah. The thing is with 10,000 breweries in the country and everyone trying to kind of vie for their identity, there's going to be crossover.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, yeah, you cross the line trying to be funny or trying to be relevant, and sometimes it bites you in the ass.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the beast.
Like putting Jar Jar Binks in the movies at all.
Right.
Why?
That's it.
Why?
So that's a good segue. So we'll kind of move into the Star Wars kind of portion of everything. As we talked about, you are a Star Wars fan. What does Star Wars mean to you? And like, do you remember watching Star Wars for the first time? And like, what movies were those first ones you saw?
Babysitter, right? You remember that?
Yep.
Are you
Okay.
OT, prequel, sequel?
OT.
Meaning like
OT.
what you were raised with.
OT.
Okay.
So obviously the original movies are the best in the series, and you know when those are on, I watch it. You know, but I like the story. I like the idea of the original movies because like it was cool to kind of see like how Darth Vader came to be. They just executed it so cool.
You mean the prequel,
The prequels.
Yes.
What did I say?
the originals?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
prequels to the originals, and then I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. But the new movies,
They weren't.
it just wasn't original. It was just the
Well,
same
They
storyline.
had 7 different directors apparently for 3 movies, which is
Yeah, it definitely felt super like discombobulated, and I remember them talking about the director of the first movie that came out.
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, and then
Ryan Johnson was the second.
he had to, and then JJ,
Yeah, JJ did the third.
and then he had to come back and kind of undo a bunch of this stuff.
Right,
Because it was just like none of it made any sense.
right.
You know, it was kind of like a regurgitated plot line. And I feel like Hollywood has
The
a
Emperor's back.
yeah.
Somehow.
the Emperor has returned.
Even though he fell down a giant shaft and was basically exploding on the way down. But hey, he used the force.
Cheers,
to
cheers to
bring him
the
back.
Emperor, right? You know, like, you know,
He's back.
Something dark. Something.
So obviously you've seen the Family Guy.
oh,
versions
yeah, we're
of
obsessed with
Star-
Yeah, those are great.
Where would those rank along like, side the acts of Star Wars?
Definitely above the
Sequel.
sequels. Yeah. Honestly, probably even the prequels. Better
Okay.
than the prequels.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mixing 2 great things, Star Wars and Family Guy.
Absolutely.
You can't go wrong with either one of those.
I mean, who leaves the couch? Perfectly good couch.
I'm taking.
I'm taking it.
Speaking of, this is pretty nice. Yeah, it's pretty-
Yes.
Apparently, you've taken some naps here.
Naps have
for the years.
haven't had. The only problem is this giant
Window.
glass garage door.
You know, it's almost like when you're sleeping on a couch and someone wakes up and just fucking blasts you with light in the middle of the night.
And a 5-year-old child.
Yeah, and a 5-year-old child.
First off, it wasn't midnight. It was
It might as well have been. We got
7
it 2
o'clock in the
2
morning.
a.m. 2 a.m. Oh, we're gonna flip on every light that's like blaring in your eyes.
For context, we're staying at his house. We're sleeping on the couch. And he has a son. He's got to go to school.
Yeah,
You've
he's
got
in kindergarten.
responsibilities
Yeah.
Got to take care
Yeah.
of.
Fuck that.
didn't want to commit truancy.
He's there right now.
Yes.
He's a kindergartner. Who's
Oh, no.
doing?
No, they don't go after
Me. Education is way low down on the
Oh,
totem
we're
pole.
losing followers.
That's a miss.
That's for the one fan to decide.
Yay! So have you like watched the shows? Any of the shows?
No.
Star Wars or
He's a
anything?
bitch.
No. I mean, I've seen The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Obviously, really big fan of that. I've seen Boba Fett.
Okay.
I thought they did that well.
Oh no.
I started Ahsoka.
are good they're a really good episode.
There are. I mean, like the
It's
show.
like Mandalorian 2.5. I mean, it's still really good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Uh,
Andor?
I never got into it.
Oh man,
I've heard it is the best.
it is.
In my opinion, it's the best.
The joke is that Star Wars for adults. Like that's the kind of
Yeah.
theme joke.
It's a lot more deep.
I wish they would start dabbling into the Knights of the Old Republic era.
Yes.
Darth Revan, Darth Malak. Those are the characters.
Yeah, you should read the High Republic because that is not quite Old Republic, but it's really interesting and very dark as well. So it's an audiobook. So I know how much you love those.
I do.
This
Yeah.
motherfucker read like all like the old Lord of the Rings, not like old, but like he reread that, and now the Dune, like that's one thing my brother and I connected on really well is like the Dune books.
Yeah.
So we reread the Dune. Well, I read the original Dune book in paper, and then we started doing audiobooks for the other ones.
Yeah.
But like that's really connected us. I think you'd really love the High Republic.
It's
really,
popped
really
up on my suggested.
It's really
At
good.
least phase 1 and 3. Phase 1 and
Yeah, yeah. But you need to ask us like because they have the adult versions and then like the junior.
Yeah, I don't want to see
YA.
those. I don't want to
So
see
like
those. Listen to those.
yeah, you don't want to listen to those. They're kind of there are some that are
Phase 1, there are some decent YA books.
Yeah.
Phase 2,
Yeah. So anyway, those I think you'd really be interested in. I know you have the credits for it.
I do have
Republic credits.
yeah. I have a lot of Audible credits.
Okay.
I like 4
You would love those. You would love those. The High Republic, the
I'll download them.
trilogy, the original trilogy is awesome and super fucking dumb.
It is really good.
I mean, well, like you said, it's more adult, right?
Yeah.
It's more geared towards.
Well,
Dude,
and
that's-
Dustin's all about the villains.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is a very captivating.
I'm like
And
what
it's
makes Star
different
Wars
from-
amazing, what made the original trilogy amazing is Darth Vader, right? And then the Emperor.
Yeah.
What makes the High Republic trilogy like insanely good, almost better than Emperor in my opinion, is Machian Ro. He's like a human that hates the Jedi and somehow finds a way to like mass exterminate the Jedi. It's really
And you
Is
find
that
out
Order
right away.
66?
What's that?
Is that Order?
way worse, way worse.
Oh yeah, way worse than Order 66. And you find out right away in the first book, like just
You don't
how,
fuck around.
how devastating it is. And I think it's cool because it's not like
Yeah, but did he kill a bunch of younglings?
oh
No. You'll find out.
yeah.
You'll find out. I don't want to spoil it for you, but like
You don't just go back in time and kill baby babies like that. Like,
I don't know what you just did. I want to know what you just did.
remember,
Like,
remember Infinity Wars or Endgame, where he's like the guy who plays the civil.
Captain America.
Not but the other guy.
Bucky.
No, not Bucky. He also
Top
had a
suit.
He also had a suit. And he got paralyzed and
Oh, Falcon.
No, not Falcon.
There, no, not Falcon. Warhammer.
Yes.
War
Yeah.
Machine.
Yeah. Where he's like, can't we just go back in time to
Yeah, I know.
kill babies?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only worst thing is like, did he go back and murder like babies like in the womb?
Yeah, well, not specifically, but it's almost worse. We've got other of 2 of these.
our dad is off screen, like
This
making fun
podcast
of
is
us
coming
right
off
now.
the rails.
Yeah. So okay, let's
It
bring
may
it
be
back
because
and then
beer's
we'll close
involved.
out
Well,
because
Yeah.
he's got to go pick up his child.
Yes.
Going back to those responsibilities.
Yeah.
Um,
What's worse is truancy is a banning. That's so.
is that worse than cease and desist or?
Oh yeah.
Well, and off of that, the next show that's coming off is The Acolytes,
Which is the High Republic.
which is like
End of the High
end of the High Republic. A little more like Old Republic feel, but not quite. I still want them to go all the way.
Oh yeah.
I want some of that. There's so many good stories.
I'm telling you, man, if you audiobook that, you'll be like,
I need a new audiobook to listen to.
I'll recommend
So,
it to you.
man.
It is super dark and like it's everything you want in Star
I'm
Wars.
afraid that's gonna fall.
And I'm gonna bring this closer to the table because fuck you. I'm an adult, sir.
Are you?
I'm not.
You've called me mom and dad.
I have
Today.
This trip.
Today, within the last 2
Yeah.
hours.
Will you pull my passport?
So anyway, like
yeah.
you would love that. So at the end of the day, right? Like, I think like you and I have kind of separated a little bit on the Star Wars topic, right? Like, I think I've really gotten into it. Obviously, I started a podcast with Mr. Michael Mudge here. Like, what does Star Wars mean to you in the context of like other properties that we've really enjoyed, like Dune and like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, I think it really introduced me into the sci-fi world. I think for a lot of people, it's kind of that intro into, what like really good storytelling can be.
You remember
And-
the babysitter we had that was
yeah.
that to us?
Yeah.
So like on a VHS tape, like we had a babysitter that would like sit us down and we would watch the New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and
Yeah.
do that.
I still think we owe
Blockbuster
Blockbuster like $1,000 in late fees.
Yeah, well, fuck that.
why they're out of
We don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
It was us. It was sorry. It had nothing to do with Netflix streaming services. Hey, I heard that one day one guy's gonna figure out how to bundle all the streaming services together and accidentally reinvent cable.
I feel like there will be a shift back to cable
Yes.
pretty soon because that's pretty much what it's turning into.
Because you're like, I'm
Especially
spending
all the ads.
$300. Yeah, I know. But I heard that joke and I'm like, that is so true.
Isn't it? It is.
I'm so tired of having to. You know what I miss? I miss being able to like jump back and forth channels. You remember that
Previous
channel?
Previous?
Yeah, you don't have that anymore.
No. It's almost
So,
it was so convenient that it's almost become inconvenient now.
yeah,
But and then like things are just spread out amongst all the different platforms and you got to pay extra if you want an ad-free version, but then you're paying extra for handfuls of different services and it's ridiculous. I mean, I use satellite, so I still hold on to that.
if only there was one galactic empire that just regulated all this stuff.
What would
together.
you call it?
Empire? Yeah,
Straight to the point.
maybe it's gonna strike back.
Well played. There you go.
Brought it back. I'm bringing it back.
Well, one thing I will encourage for you as well, and you can attest to it because I did it to you. If you haven't watched the animated shows, it is well worth it.
Dude,
Like
Talking about the
some-
Clone Wars.
Clone
And
Wars,
Rebels.
Rebels, Bad Batch. Like it's season 3 of Bad Batch is going on right now, and that's kind of been our recent conversation on the podcast as we're viewing all the episodes. But I mean, talk about some of the best content we've gotten out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Especially Rebels, like that whole show itself is
It's-
one great story. Clone Wars is the same thing, but you jump around so much that you'll get really good story here, and then you get kind of clunkers a little bit, but still a lot of good content there.
Yeah, just like for me, the hard part is, and maybe you can help me kind of get past this. It does feel so geared to kids.
And seasons like 1 and 2 definitely feel that way for Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And that's what I told you, isn't it, Dustin? Like, just push through those first couple of seasons. And then then they realized who their target audience is.
Now
And
it's
they-
so good.
Yeah, and then they started catering to them. Like, it's really dark in some of those episodes, and he can attest to it.
Yeah.
So,
And well, like, so by the end of Clone Wars, you have Darth Maul's brother fighting Palpatine and Darth Maul. I mean, that's insane. And then
When he's
by
the
the end
most
of
modern
Rebels,
character.
oh, you see him? Yeah, you'll get
Yeah.
into that.
by the end of Rebels, you have Ahsoka fighting Vader, which is like, I mean,
Yeah, because Ahsoka was
Vader's apprentice.
yeah.
Oh,
Anakin
Anakin.
was Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane, dude. It's really, 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 really good.
I know my stuff.
And like to your point about catering to kids, like speaking of Dylan, he's right over there. Ahsoka, like I found her to be like one of the most annoying characters in the show.
I never found her to be in the movie.
Oh, you never found her to be in the
The
movie?
fucking robots took that over because they did Roger,
And it became she's one of my top 3 characters.
Yeah.
Like she is freaking.
So what do you
bad.
think about the live action show that they did?
Ahsoka? It was good.
Could have been
It
better.
could have been better.
They made some mistakes, but that's okay.
I think it was a product of someone who's used to making animated shows doing a live action. And a lot of like the elements in it would have probably fit better within the animation, but the story itself was still very good. And they even brought like the voice of Thrawn back. And that, I mean, you can't have Thrawn without that voice.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I think the last episode and a half kind of fell a little short for me, but everything up to that was still pretty good. But
Where it's going?
where it's going.
Oh man, that's really, really exciting.
And it's going to lead into the movie,
Yeah.
the movies that are going to be coming out. So there's going to be a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And
Which
it-
I'm like, I'm a little negative on that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have like straight Ahsoka.
oh, sure, yeah. But they're taking
Didn't the director get fired
for
the new movies?
oh, they've had so many
Yeah,
movies that
it's
they've
been a lot of
released.
turnover.
There's been a lot of cancellations. So Kathleen Kennedy has been known as like the yes person. She'll say yes to every single project, and then like 90% of them get it. But,
When they make fun of it in South Park.
100%.
Put a check in it.
If you're fans of so I think we should close it out because we got a long day tomorrow, right?
And beer to drink.
And
Me
beer
too.
drinking.
I have to pace myself because I'm on blood thinners. So it's been really challenging to do.
Hey, no one wants your sad story. Yeah.
I'm on double dose of blood thinners. How about that? So, well, I know I called you Rip. I don't even think I gave you the listeners a real.
Oh,
name.
yeah.
So it's been.
I'll go by Red.
Go by Rip.
I took my cowboy hat off. It's fine.
Put it back on. I'm there. You're gonna lose your mind. We got Dylan here. now, too.
We're having a moment right now.
It's a tattoo.
Oh. Oh, look at that. Why don't you show
come
our
on.
listener? We're on a podcast right now. Show your artist.
I hate you now. My arm.
I don't know if you can see this.
You got Boba Fett, you got Leia, you got Darth Vader, you got BB-88, you got a Rebel helmet.
Oh, there's BB-8. You got the Imperial sign right there. You got Kylo Ren.
That is impressive.
Darth Vader?
It's
Yeah.
a trap.
We got some tits.
There's a tauntaun here.
Oh, hey. Well, you don't have to show us that.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Hey,
Wow.
hey,
Well done.
this turned into OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Hey, followers
subscribe to our
skyrocketed.
OnlyFans.
We're gonna start charging for the podcast.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you for hosting us here.
It's my twin brother. He doesn't listen to podcasts because he hates the sound of my fucking voice.
Well, this guy said he's listening to his own voice
Yes,
in that
it's very
regard.
annoying.
So, and I think we're going to be podcasting here tomorrow as well. So, looking forward to that.
I can't wait for like people to hear the podcast, and if they don't listen to it or watch it, they're just gonna think some schizophrenic person is just talking to themselves because we do sound almost exactly alike.
Broken up by like these inputs of my voice.
Yeah.
You know, from one man show. What is that movie Glass? Where that guy has like multiple different voices.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Uh,
Not Glass. It's Glass is the one with Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, yeah, isn't that one?
Yeah. No, it's the one with the guy from he was like the main character in Xavier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that Glass?
Yeah.
Because Bruce Willis is in it, Samuel L. Jackson, so Mace Windu connecting it back to Star Wars.
But no, but that concept, right, with the guy with schizophrenia.
Yeah, that Malcolm voice. So that's what we're doing here. It's actually one person talking. So if you're listening to us,
It's not me, it's Jessica.
This is all AI generated, actually.
right? Yeah.
Why I'm more handsome than him.
Which that you can see half the logo of us right there. But again, we're here. If you're in the area, come see us. Again, we'll be here tomorrow. So come mention our podcast name and we'll have him buy you a drink. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Get a detention box.
Yeah, there you go. Get it attention.
Mine's empty.
Yeah, we're gonna need to get you
That tells you.
so how good it is. I mean, it is absolutely. So yeah, I'll just wrap it up here. Any final thoughts on anything?
I mean, this has been, we should do this every year, if not every day.
Make it a tradition.
This is incredible. And thank you so much for being a very amicable host.
Yes. It's been awesome. So with that, thank you for joining us today. I try to speak to our social media handles, but I don't have them memorized. And I'm not just gonna spew them.
Yeah.
You can find, I'll post
You'll
it.
find them.
Thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And as always, may the force be with you.
And also the beer twin.